Today, we're doing something a little different. I have a brand new bookshelf that my husband built for me. It is the most super fantastic bookshelf ever because it is secretly a closet door. It is on drawer slides, really, really big, heavy-duty ones. So it can slide out about 36 inches. And I've got, memorabilia behind there. But since I have this super fabulous new bookshelf, and I have these incredibly overcrowded shelves over here, we're gonna do some rearranging. I am hoping to not have to move the camera. This is my bedroom. You are currently on my bed. It is very crowded. It's a very small space. So I'm just trying to work with what I've got to maximize how much you can see. I'm hoping that the sound is okay. I do not have a lavalier mic. I am trying to aim my voice towards the recorder so that it is picking me up. I did find that when I turned my head away, the sound was maybe not great. So if it seems a little weird, like I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm looking at the recorder and trying to keep the recorder off the camera frame. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. My books are currently arranged with the physical TBR first, and then by 5-star reads, which go to here. 4-star reads go to here, and then these are my 3-star, and these are the books that are in timeout for disappointing me. I think that with the addition of the new bookshelf, what I'm going to do is arrange them by genre. And I think I'm no longer going to keep the physical TBR separate because, to be honest, it's relatively small, but I do find it a little bit stressful, like it's judging me. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull all of the fantasy books off the shelf because I would really like to put the fantasy books on my fantasy secret closet door. I may have too many fantasy books for them to fit just over there, so this is the experiment we're going to do first and foremost. So these are the fantasy books that I am currently reading. The Robin Hobb books. I have 6 more coming. My mom keeps sending them to me because she's really into them right now, so I'm gonna have to leave room for those. I might do a little unhauling as I'm going through here too. For example, I have had A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court since maybe junior high, and I've never read it, and I don't think Mark Twain is for me. Dracula's Brood, Vampire Classics by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, M.R. James, and others. Should I put this in fantasy, or should I have a short story stack? Or Or would this be classic? The 100,000 Kingdoms by M.K. Jemisin. I think this is fantasy. Maybe it's, yeah, it seems fantasy-ish. The Once and Future Witches. Vita Nostra. Discount Armageddon and Blood in the Mist. Let's see, Nola Hawkinson, Brown Girl in the Rain. I think. Oh, Ancient Truths, Eternal Powers, Tragic Mystery. Yeah, that sounds like fantasy. And then David Mogo, God Hunter, is definitely fantasy. And that's it for the ones that I haven't read. There's going to be a lot of TJ Klune that comes up in this. The spear cuts through water. Octavia Butler, she's science fiction, right? Or is she fantasy? Time travel seems science fiction-y. Vampires seem fantasy. I don't know. Magical realism. Ooh, should I call magical realism fantasy, or should I not? I might have to rethink some of this as I go along. I'm gonna start piling things on the floor, like my entire stack of moving. Edward Gorey. I don't really know how to categorize him either. One of the weirdest things for me is that I'm going to have TJ Klune all over the place because he doesn't stick to a category. This will be my first time breaking apart authors to fit into different genres. of the fantasy pulled off of the shelves. Now I have a giant mess on my floor. But let's start alphabetizing, I guess. I just overwhelmed myself. Okay. Normally I would not push the books all the way back, but weight could be an issue for this, so I've got The City of Brass, Kingdom of Copper, and Empire of Gold by Chakraborty up there, because I found the letter C first, so I might not have any fantasy by A or B. Heartbreak Bakery and A Master of Gin. Daichenko. This is Vida Nostra, and I believe this is written by a Ukrainian couple. So I'm going to struggle to pronounce that last name. Oh, here we go. Here's a B. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy could just as easily be a romance. They would ride upon sticks. That one's more Faustian I honestly don't know if I should put Black Candle Women in fantasy, because voodoo is a real religion and it doesn't really read like a fantasy book, so I'm not gonna put it with fantasy. Ooh. Pretty sure The Grace of Kings should be in the fantasy category though. Might find others that I missed as I go along. So we've got Gaiman back up here. That means next is The Princess Bride and The Witch's Heart. Okay, I found another B. This is When Women Were Dragons. It had been in the Time Out section. So I don't really know how I feel about it being front and center now. I reserve the right to change my mind. H, we have Discovery of Witches. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but I loved those books. I don't think I have anybody with I. J, Trouble the Saints, Olivia Dawn Johnson. Should really buy a belt one of these days. Oh, and Jimenez would actually come before Johnson. Oh yeah, and I decided the 100,000 Kingdoms sounded like fantasy more than sci-fi. Okay. So, TJ Klune that I'm putting into fantasy is going to include Into This River I Drown, The House in the Cerulean Sea, and Under the Whispering Door, which I'm actually going to put in pages out because look at those sprayed edges. So fun. And then we have R.F. Kuang. I've got The Whole Poppy Wars. Now the problem is that this is ending up directly underneath Neil Gaiman, and I like having these facing this way. It might look a little funny on the shelf. So again, something I reserve the right to rearrange. The Historian. Oops. I found more TJ Klune. Oh dear. So I've got Wolf Song and Raven Song. So I'm gonna have to make sure I have room. There's 4 books in this series. Well, that solved the Kuang being directly underneath Gaiman problem, at least. Else, we have Lone Women and Politics, the Form of a Mortal Girl. This one's magical realism, and this one's kind of horror. But I don't think I have enough horror books to put them in their own category. now I'm also not separating out classic versus contemporary, but I might do that if these get too full too fast. And that's probably everything that's gonna fit. Oh dear, I forgot the Robin Hobb books. I strongly suspect that my fantasy is not going to fit on this shelf. I think I filled it up already because I've got a lot still spread out around me. Maybe if I start going from the other end and see. My fantasy books are definitely not going to fit on that shelf. So we're going to pivot. I'm going to see if science fiction fits on that shelf. That's what we're going to do. This is going to get so messy. guess they're all in roughly alphabetical order now. And now we try again. I don't really know where to put Murakami. These are more my husband's books than they are mine. I think that they are magical realism, so maybe I should put them in fantasy. Okay, science fiction. I forgot I had a whole stack of books behind also. That is all also fantasy. Maybe it needs to just stay exactly where it is. Finding stickers on my books. I hate price tags that don't come off. It's probably why I left these stickers on for so long. Hitchhiker's Guide, The Handmaid's Tale, and then we've got The Zombie Survival Guide and World War Z. Bradbury comes before Brooks. I really want to have I don't know if I'll have room to face it that way. I'll definitely have to show you these shelves in detail before I'm done here. But I really want them to be pretty. Toshikazu Kawaguchi's books, the coffee shop books, would you call magical realism science fiction or fantasy? I'm really struggling with the distinction there. I sort of always feel like time travel is, I'm going to say time travel is science fiction. And then the other one I don't know. I think of Yoon-ha Lee as like essentially one word, and it's not. I think I'm gonna put him under L for Lee. Yeah, okay. More Murakami. Alright, I think I've got all the science fiction picked out at this point. Okay. And I am shelving In the Lives of Puppets with the science fiction. the science fiction on that shelf, and I have 2 shelves to go. It makes me a little sad to put favorite books on those shelves, but it just sort of is what has to happen, I think. I forgot one. Little room for growth on those shelves too. So I guess I will do my only 2 mystery books, which is Dead Dead Girls and Harlem Sunset. And then I'm going to put, you know what? Rather than let them be all by themselves as mysteries, I'm going to put all of my queer books together, which is very nearly the same as my romance category. No, I'm not going to put all my queer books together because a lot of my fantasy books are queer. So no, we're going to let it be mystery, romance, and contemporary. Might end up doing at some point is actually putting those on the top shelf and shifting everything else down the shelf. But for right now, I'm kind of liking the way it looks, so. Okay. So contemporary books. Should just basically be contemporaries and classics left on the shelf at this point. And I do kind of want to keep them lower since they're the ones that I reach for the least. Honestly, I should probably unhaul some of them because they just don't. I'm never going to read most of these books again. I'm going to start for now by leaving Mercedes Lackey back there just because she takes up so much room. So much room. But I'm absolutely not getting rid of any of them because I love her. Love these books. So let's pull, we'll see if they'll fit. If we pull Piers Anthony forward. And Along Dark Tea Time of the Soul. Douglas Adams will be very first. Okay. Anthony, and then the problem with having those back there is that these do stick forward just a little bit, but it'll be fine. Maybe stack this way and see what happens. That's what I'm going to do for right now. Be nice to leave myself some space, a little bit of space. Oops, I forgot Christopher Moore. Where should I put Christopher Moore? I have too much of him, and yet not enough. I've misplaced the Silmarillion somewhere along the way. And I forgot to work Murakami back in. Oh, there it is. I have this many more books to fit in this much space. So I think it's time to unhaul some things. I got Black Candle Women as an ARC and I DNF'd it. So that might be one to remove. Oh, I still love Austen. Still love Chaucer and Conrad. once again, I forgot Murakami. I'm just gonna keep ignoring them in the hopes that this chunk goes away. Here. Okay, well, that was an adventure. I have a little bit more smoothing and arranging to do and some alphabetizing, but I think I'm gonna do that and maybe a little bit more unhauling off camera because I feel like I'm gonna spend another hour just staring, and I don't think that that's gonna be very entertaining for y'all. So I will be back in moments with close-ups of the final shelf configurations. Hello friends. It has been mere moments for you, but for me it's been about another hour of alphabetizing. But here we go. I wanted to show you my final bookshelves, starting with fantasy. We have Piers Anthony. We've got Mercedes Lackey tucked behind the rest of the books because I just own too many books by her to have them all out and visible. We've got The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy and Women Were Dragons. Chakraborty taking up a large chunk of space, so I really do need to finish reading those books. Got Gaiman as a vertical stack because again he takes up too much space. Got a little room for growth here though. That's what's going on with the Robin Hobb books as well. My mom already told me that she sent me the next 6, so I'm hoping they can just get stacked vertically and will all fit. We'll find out. Here's some of TJ, and again, room for growth because that is only the first 2 books in a 4-book series as they're getting reprinted. And then we have Kwong, who takes up less room this way. I think I like the cover for the Poppy Wars the best, so it's probably going to stay at the front, but I might switch it up at some point. Okay, so shelf number 2 starts with The Historian, which is a vampire book that I absolutely love. There is a little bit of wiggle room, not enough to fit the rest of this series, but since I only have book 1 and I haven't started reading it yet, I don't know if I will need room for the rest of Kin Liu's books. I suspect that I will. Got Shannon Maguire. I've got a good chunk of Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I did eventually remember to put Murakami in. I know Purple and Bunny will be very upset to see it still there, but you know, I can't just get rid of my husband's books. Continuing along. I did decide to keep classic fantasy like Frankenstein and Dracula in with the rest of the fantasy. And as you can see from the fact that they've fallen over, I need to get a bookend, but also there is some room for growth on this shelf, which makes me very happy. And bottom shelf here, these are all the classic and contemporary books. A lot of these are my husband's. He is much more fond of classic American authors than I am. That's why we have like the Edward Abbey. We've got a lot of Steinbeck because that is my husband's favorite author. He and I share a love of the Russian literature. And a lot of this also were books that I read for school, like Pamela and Shamala. Shamala is a book which is mocking Pamela, which is why I put them together, even though they are different authors. So yeah, the Book of Marjorie Kemp was another school book. Should try and get that sticker off of the road because it's ugly. So yeah, not a lot of contemporary literature. It's not really my favorite genre or even one that I go to at all, but I do like some of the classics. I do have a literature degree. It does kind of come along with the territory. I do still have some books tucked behind, not very many. I know I could have room for all of them if I move some of the classics up, but I kind of like having the two dedicated fantasy shelves. And last of all, we have my beautiful new bookshelf that starts with science fiction. This is fledgling right here. I just think that the artwork on it is so beautiful. And even though right now the only other Octavia Butler book that I have is Kindred, which is behind, I do want to get more into her backlist, so eventually I will have more, and it will make sense to have her faced this way to fit books in. So second shelf. Again, I actually have a little bit of a room to buy more books, which is nice. I do have In the Lives of Puppets as science fiction, not fantasy. Shelf number 3. Kind of struggled to decide where to put Black Sci-Fi short stories because it doesn't have an editor listed, but the intro was written by, is it Timmy O? And so I went with O. Lots of Vonnegut. I guess I could have put him in classic, but I do kind of think of him as a science fiction author thanks to books like Cat's Cradle. And he is a favorite for my husband and myself. Alright, here we go. 4th shelf down. Have lots of room for growth here, or to put some cute little decoration. So these are my only 2 mystery books, my romances, and books that are they definitely are contemporary. Just straight up contemporary literature, but they are queer or have prominent queer characters, so I went ahead and put them over here with all of my romances, because all of my romances are also queer. And I kind of like having them over here. I didn't bother separating out every queer book on my shelves, because then I think that would have just been too complicated. It would have made it hard for me to find the books I was looking for, because they're just sort of interspersed with the fantasy and science fiction. And final shelf is literally just Christopher Moore. That's it. That's all that's on there. I have a lot of Christopher Moore. He is a favorite for me and my husband. I ran out of storage on my phone, so my sentence got
cut off, but yes, Christopher Moore. My husband and I both love him. And that is my bookshelf. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. And I hope that you guys, all y'all, have enjoyed spending some time rearranging my books with me. Stay safe out there, y'all. Have a good night. So cozy. So mad I interrupted her nap. Say goodnight, Mia.